I swear to God, my hair is not prepared for this.
Good day guys, Jack here, and guess what? I'm not dead. I'm still alive. And I apologize for the lack of videos that I've been making on this account because of how lazy I am and how I procrastinate a lot. But now I made this video for you guys, and hopefully it doesn't take like another, I don't know, maybe 2 months until I post another video again. Anyways, moving on. Let us all talk about an iconic superhero franchise known as Power Rangers. Started in 1993 with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and with that series being a success, Power Rangers would then continue their legacy by producing many more spin-off series throughout the years. While some are favorable by the fans, while others, not so much. Until in 2023, when Power Rangers Cosmic Fury was considered to be the last and final installment of the Power Rangers series, leaving the current showrunners Hasbro quiet in regards of any new Power Rangers content since then. Until March 2025, when Hasbro announced that they will be partnering with Disney to reboot the entire Power Rangers timeline exclusively on Disney+. After Netflix have already cut ties with Power Rangers before removing some of the shows, which has left a lot of fans happy, and even myself as well. In fact, I'm just glad that they're rebooting the entire Power Rangers timeline since, to be fair, the original timeline is a mess. Thanks to some of the spin-off series, of course. And while it's good to know that Disney is now being involved with Power Rangers again, especially given that they're literally the only company who at least know how to take Power Rangers seriously, unlike both Saban and Hasbro. Well, for the most part. But it does also leave me a bit worried about this new reboot, which I will explain why I'm a bit worried about this new Power Rangers Disney Plus reboot. And one of the reasons is because, what if the new reboot isn't all that good? Like, what if this new reboot would just end up being a letdown to all the Power Rangers fans out there? Since I feel like this new reboot just might be the last chance to save the franchise's reputation after Cosmic Fury. Even though this new reboot is going to be run by the same people who wrote the Percy Jackson series, so that must mean it will be good, right? Well, I do hope so. I mean, I do prefer the franchise being run by people who at least understand the franchise better rather than just people who think that they know what they're doing, but instead just end up making very questionable decisions. Like, if I were in charge of my own reboot of the Power Rangers timeline myself, if I was a good writer, I would not only just try to fix all the problems that a lot of the Power Rangers series have, especially the bad ones, but I would also try to change some of the themes of the Power Rangers series just to match the same theme that its Sentai counterpart has, just to make it better. Because the problem with some Power Rangers series is that whenever a Sentai series gets adapted into Power Rangers, they don't just use the theme of that series, and instead they just use a different theme, but not in a good way. As in, a way that would just help make the series better. Or they would just give the series no theme at all, and just try to make it look like a copy and paste version of Mighty Morphin. Like, for example, when Kaku Ranger, a ninja-themed Sentai series, was adapted to Power Rangers, instead of having a ninja-themed Power Rangers team for a ninja-themed Power Rangers series that was based on this Sentai team, instead we end up getting a alien-themed Power Rangers team as part of a mini-series that's meant to be a continuation of Season 3 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, while the main 6 characters of Mighty Morphin end up using ninja elements, all while using the Kaku Ranger swords, and while even acknowledging them as ninja sword throughout the rest of Season 3 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which just makes no sense at all. Like, Saban, I know you don't like ninjas, but why did you even bother giving the main 6 characters of Mighty Morphin ninja elements if you're not going to make this Ninja Sentai team into an actual Ninja Power Rangers team? Like, what are you on about, Saban? Well, at least he learned his lesson when he adapted Ninja into an actual Ninja Power Rangers team. But he still can't even make a proper ninja-themed Power Rangers series, since the series didn't even feel like a proper ninja series at all. Hell, I'm just glad that Saban didn't even touch Hardy Kensha. Okay, my point being is, if I were in charge of my own Power Rangers reboot, I would just have the Aquatar Rangers as ninjas instead of aliens, like they should be, given that their Sentai counterparts were ninjas, so that would make more sense that way. And while I would also ideally maybe give the Kaku Ranger powers to humans instead of aliens, maybe I would also give those powers to maybe some original characters, as in characters that we have never seen before, because I feel like that would just work better than just giving the Kaku Ranger powers to the Aquatars instead. Another example of Power Rangers not properly using the theme of its Sentai counterpart is regarding to both Ghost Nature and Gokaiger. And the reason why I'm mentioning these two Sentai series is pretty obvious given that those two Sentai series were combined into one messy, themeless, but also unoriginal Power Rangers series that tries to make itself look special but doesn't come out as good as its Sentai counterparts. Like, we all know how much of a mess both Power Rangers Megaforce and Super Megaforce is. Especially if it's bad writing, acting, huge plot holes, and so many Sentai footage to the point when we can actually recognize some of the Sentai Rangers that never got their own Power Rangers series, and they just let it slide for some reason given that how much of a cheapskate Saban is. Like, you know that one episode where Mr. Krabs says that he doesn't care about the children and only cares about their money? That's basically how I'm Saban when it comes to Power Rangers, especially in Megaforce, since especially when that series not only feels like a big F you to all the Power Rangers fans who want to see Gokaiger get adapted to Power Rangers, but it also just disrespect both of their Sentai counterparts as a whole, since given that not only does Saban doesn't like ninjas, but he also doesn't like pirates as well because Saban is weird. Like, if I were in charge of adapting both Ghost Nature and Gokaiger instead of Saban, instead of combining these series into one Power Ranger series, I would just split them both into separate series that actually use the theme from both of their Sentai counterparts into those Power Rangers series. Like, think of it as parents divorcing and each parent takes one child for them to look after. Like, if I adapted Ghost Nature into Power Rangers myself, I would just basically have my own version of Power Rangers Megaforce. One that has nothing to do with the Armada, the Ranger Keys, and even the same Sentai fight battle footage that we already saw way too many times throughout the series. But instead, it's a bit more like a Sentai counterpart that uses the whole angel theme without being too unoriginal. And as for Gokaiger on the other hand, if I were to also adapt that series into Power Rangers myself, of course I would just have that series to not have anything to do with everything that happened in Megaforce as of, like, you know, the whole season 1 of Megaforce. And instead focus on its own story involving space pirates, in which the powers are actually given to, especially with all the legendary rangers from the past teams of Power Rangers throughout the years, since that's how you actually adapt both of these Sentai series to Power Rangers, of course. And not only that, but that's also how you actually take Power Rangers more seriously, so get your shit right next time, Saban. And last but not least, Kyuranger. And the reason why I'm mentioning this series is because even though Hasbro already adapted that series to Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, but instead of just using these suits like they did with the swords, they just used their own suits, which just don't look as good as the Kyuranger suits. And it just bothers me that we never even got an actual Power Ranger series with these suits, given how freaking cool they look compared to the actual Cosmic Fury suits that we actually got. And well, how much of a disappointing series Cosmic Fury is. And while some people can argue, oh, but there's too many Rangers on one team, and it would just be too many characters to focus on and so much character development.
I don't give a shit!
I don't care how many Rangers there are all in one team. But just like Kaku Ranger, Ghost Ranger, and Gokaiger, Kyuranger is another Sentai series that deserves its proper Power Rangers adaptation. One that actually uses the suits from that series. And not only that, but I would also replace all of the Dino Fury casts who are featured in the Cosmic Fury with original characters instead. And I don't care what anyone says, but that's exactly how I would adapt Kyuranger into the type of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury that we all needed so much. So yeah, that's basically what I would do if I run my own Power Rangers Reboot series. And not only I would try to fit some of the bad series while also giving some Sentai series the proper Power Rangers series that they deserve, but I would also try to adapt these Sentai series as part of my own reboot of the entire Power Rangers timeline as well, which would require a video of me explaining how and why I would want to adapt those Sentai series to Power Rangers. Plus, I feel like some of the Sentai series that are mentioned in this video would probably bring a debate regarding to whether this particular Sentai series should be adapted to Power Rangers or not. Though I would like to see how you guys would adapt these series into Power Rangers. Another reason why I'm worried about the new Power Rangers reboot is because knowing that Toei is not going to be involved in the new Power Rangers reboots along with Saban, which is actually a good thing compared to Toei not being involved, so thank God for that. Because I do want Saban to stay 6 feet away from Power Rangers, especially after everything that he had done during his Neo era. In fact, letting Saban in charge of Power Rangers is like letting Michael Bay in charge of Transformers movies. While some people would consider Toei not being involved in the Power Rangers reboot a good thing, merely because that there won't be any more Sentai stock footage involved in it, which is true, since I do like Power Rangers better when it uses its own fight scenes rather than just using stock Sentai footage as part of a cheap alternative. Just like how I like Power Rangers better when it tries to be more original compared to its Sentai counterparts, like RPM for example. But the reason why I have an issue about Toei not being involved in the new reboot is because what if there's any props that they might actually need from them? Since we all know that Toei is responsible for all the props from Sentai and Power Rangers, of course. Which does beg the question, what if there is a prop that only Toei has, but not Disney or Hasbro, in which they were both required to have? In fact, what if they plan on adapting a Sentai series that has not been adapted to Power Rangers yet, like, let's just say maybe Sentai series like Zyuohger or Gear Major, which would also require props from that series for them to use for the new Power Rangers reboot, even though I highly doubt that's actually possible for them to adapt both Zyuohger or Gear Major to Power Rangers. Like, I'm not really sure if they're actually going to adapt any Sentai series that has not gotten their own Power Rangers series yet for the new reboot. I mean, I don't know, I could be wrong. Because you may never know what props you might actually need from them to begin with. Unless if you're working on your own props or something. But I don't know, I feel like Toei not being involved in the new Power Rangers reboot isn't really a good idea. Especially from Hasbro, since they've already made some questionable decisions with Power Rangers as well, which almost feels like they're using Power Rangers the same way as Saban has. So at this point, I'm just hoping that Hasbro at least learned their lesson by now. Though again, not having Toei in the new Power Rangers reboot, not the best idea, but still. And sure, that also means that we won't be getting any more stock footage from Sentai in the new reboot, but still. Hopefully Hasbro actually does something at least good this time, especially with the new Power Rangers reboot, so don't mess it up this time, Hasbro. So yeah, that's basically my reasons as to why I'm worried about the new Power Rangers Disney Plus reboot. Though once again, I'm just hoping that it's actually good. Like, I am hoping that they don't mess it up, though I'm not really sure what they're actually going to do with this new reboot of the timeline. But who knows? I guess only time can tell. So that's basically all I can talk about in this video, and let me know what your thoughts on this new Power Rangers Disney Plus reboot, and what are your expectations about it. But other than that, that is all for this video, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. What the fuck?